What's going on, guys, and welcome back to a Monster Hunter Rise video. In this video I will show you how I hit over 1.1k elemental damage per file in my charge blade.
All right, let's see the damage. Direct hit on the head.
1100 on the files? That's crazy. Now, first and foremost, this is a elemental build, so you want to make sure you are using the best element for the monster that you're hunting. In this case, I'll be showing you guys my silver splitter, which is a dragon type. Now, with this weapon, we have 104 dragon attack. We have a 4-slot, 4-slot, and a 4-slot, and then our rampage skill is a 3-slot. Most importantly on this build, it is a elemental file. You want to do elemental damage, so that means you are going to want a elemental file. Now, on the rampage skill, you want element exploit, which will slightly increase the damage when exploiting a foe's elemental weakness. Again, this is an elemental build, so you want to be using it against whatever, or using the element that your monster is weak to. Now, on the weapon, we have slotted critical element, burst, and focus. Now, critical element, of course, increases your elemental damage by 15% when this is level 3, which I do have at level 3. Burst, the more consecutive attacks that you hit, it increases your elemental attack. This is also maxed out at level 3. And for the skill focus, this will increase your fill rate for weapons with gauges and charge rate for weapons that have charge attacks. For example, the charge blade. Right now, we only have this on level 2, which gives me 10% faster gauge and then 10% faster charge times, which is more than enough on this build. Now you go to the helmet. We have Velstrex's helmet. On here, we have dragon conversion. When using the red scroll skill, and elemental resistance, or all elemental resistance, is set to 0 and converted into elemental attack. Now, something like this is very, very huge for the skill of Furious, because Furious, if you also use your red scroll, you can get defense plus 30 and plus 20 resistance, elemental resistance on your build, which, as we just read on the dragon conversion, whenever you have Furious with it, this will increase your elemental attack, which is crazy. Now, Lation Power was just a part of it. It's not super big in the build. Same thing with this normal attack boost. They're here, they just kind of come with the build. Now, you also want your element of choice. You want to have that at level 4 on this current piece of armor. And then I threw in Embolden. I have Embolden maxed out on this build, and this is just to increase my defense, just making me a little bit more safe in the hunt. Now we go to the chest piece. This is Primordial Malzeno. Now here we're going to talk about a few things and try not to confuse myself and you guys. So now we look at Blood Awakening. So Blood Awakening, I think it pairs up with 3 different skills. This greatly bolsters your attacks for a certain period of time, depending on how much health you regain from landing attacks. Now, at the end of that, you need to gain health from landing attacks in order to trigger Blood Awakening. Now, the way you want to do that is you want to have Heartbreaker, and then Heartbreaker, you want to pair that up with Blood Right. Now, Blood Right says a portion of damage dealt is converted to health when striking a broken monster part. So you want to break the monster's parts much easier, and then you want to hit the monster, which is going to heal you, and when it heals you, depending on how much it heals you, that is how much more attack you get. Now, next, moving on, we have Critical Boost. Critical Boost, it's maxed out on this build. This increases your damage dealt by critical hits to 40%, which is insane, okay? And then we have a defense boost. This is a 4 skill or a 4 slotted decoration, and at level 5, this increases your defense by 8%, you get plus 20 defense to your build, and it adds 3 to all elemental resistances, which pairs up with Furious and Dragon Conversion to increase more damage. Now I don't have Furious on this build. I wish I did, because my damage would be bonkers. Now we do have Weakness Exploit, which is also maxed out on this build. So what this does is it gives you a higher crit rate to get crits. Now we have this maxed out. This gives me 50% on top of what I have. Now for the arms, you want Primordial Malzeno arms here. I've gone over these skills already, and it comes with a 4 slot, a 4 slot, and a 3 slot. And we have the 4 slot emboldened there. And then on that 2nd slot there, we have the Blood Right. And then on the 3rd, we have Critical Element. Now, moving on to the coil here, we have a 4 slot and a 2 slot. Now, we have Frenzied Bloodlust and Bloodlust, which go hand in hand. So, Bloodlust gives you the effect of Frenzy. Now, what Frenzy does is, when you're infected, attack and evasion increase and stamina use is reduced. Now, when you recover it, just by doing damage, you will recover Frenzy. On recovery, your red vitality gauge is restored, so you get max health, and then your affinity increases. And also when you heal it, because we have Frenzied Bloodlust, you also gain an additional Wire Bug, which is really, really, really cool, because you pair up the Wire Bug that you get with Wind Mantle, which when you're using a Silkbind attack, it increases your Wire Bug gauge. So if you get 3 and you use your skill, you will just have all of your Wire Bugs back a lot of the time. Now, finishing out the legs, we do have load shells on here, level 2, which is the max. This increases your capacity of files, and the way that this weapon works is the more files that you have, the more damage that you can do per file. Now the legs here, we've covered most of these. We do have recovery up, which is going to increase your recovery. We also have rapid morph, and this is maxed out, so you have 30% speed on converting your weapon to whatever it is. In this case, it's a sword and shield into a big axe thingy. And for your morph attack, you get 20% damage, which is really, really good. I will go over these my augments right after I go over the armor pieces themselves. Now, our talisman, it's just most important that you have a 2 or 3 level 2 slots here. I did get lucky here on having Intrepid Heart, which fills up a special gauge, and when you get hit, it negates your reactions, whether you'll fly away or whatever, and it kind of reduces the damage, and it doesn't knock you back. So that's just really, really nice to have. And then when you have a level 2, when you get hit with Intrepid Heart, an explosion goes off, which damages the monster too. Now I want to briefly go over my augments on these weapons. So this one, we got Element Exploit, just so we can max that skill out. Dragon Conversion here. We have Mail of Hellfire, which is a skill that I have not gone over yet. So right now, since I don't have Furious, I use this in Blue Scroll, because the Blue Scroll, the resistance goes down, but your element attack goes up. So I just use that to kind of boost that as of now. Then we have another Mail of Hellfire, and guess what? Another Mail of Hellfire. Now, if you can switch these 3 with Furious, you are in good hands and super lucky. And that's it. So that's the build, and I love this build. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Like I said, the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is whatever monster you're fighting, you want to make sure that you're matching up that element. And this build can go with any elemental weapon for the most part. Hopefully I didn't confuse you on this build. And if you enjoyed this build and it did help you out, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I would highly appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you sub, because I would also appreciate that. We're trying to have this community grow. We're pretty close to 1,000. Thank you all for your love and support. I'll catch you guys in the next one.